Hi, this Susan. I'm here at my work table. I know you've seen this mess before, but I just wanted to do some faux finishing. Now I'm doing a Jenga block make. This is going to be my Halloween Carnival booth. So you could do this Carnival booth for any occasion, but this just happens to be a Halloween one. And this over here is going to be my pumpkin stand. And I'm kind of working at both of them, and I'm doing different faux finishes, so I wanted to share that with you. Okay, so you've heard me talk about the Jenga blocks, and I thought maybe I've been trying to sell you on these Jenga blocks for a while. So I thought if I showed you a great finish on it, you would want to make this. And it's going to be a two-parter because, I'm going to decorate it all up. So, okay, so these are the Jenga blocks that you get at Dollar Tree. And they're smaller than regular sized Jenga blocks, or like by half at least. Okay, so the first thing I do, take them out of the box, cut it open, and I start to separate them. And that just gives you time to think about what you're going to do with them. And the way I separate them is you're going to have most of the ones in this stack that are either broken, they're either embossed on the back, or they have like crooked lines. Now, if you're going to paint this with a solid paint, that doesn't even matter. But if you're going to use them, like I like to do a wash where you still see the lines underneath them, sometimes a lighter wash, that's going to make a difference. Like in this one, you can see, I didn't plan this ahead of time, and so you can see them over here. So I'll show that to you closer up. So the way I separate them out is ones that would be miniature size lines. So these are really thin lines. So I put those in one stack, and these are straight up and down. And you want to check both sides because it makes a difference. Straight up and down. So those are wider apart lines. And these are all the crooked lines or the thick lines or different color, don't match. And then and those I'll put the broken ones, kind of with those. And then I have this group here that are real light color. Because I think, maybe I'll need something where it's just doesn't have lines in it. It just needs to be a light color. So that's the first thing I do. And let me just get these out of the way. And I'm going to use my wood glue that I got from Dollar Tree. This is my old bottle. Doesn't look a thing like that anymore. The new bottles look like this, but unfortunately the price has gone up. It's no longer that sticker. And they've gone up to $1.50. And then I saw some things that were even more than that. That were $1.75 for they snuck it in the receipt. Now, wait a minute. Wait a minute. How much are you charging me? It was $1.75. So, they're going to price themselves out of crafts. So, okay, so here's the piece that I've already glued together. And since I wanted to play, I started playing with this last night, and so I can't do it over. I didn't have the camera on and all that. So I'm just going to do this piece. Now, I've just glued this together. Now, this is just like this pumpkin stand. The bottom of this pumpkin stand is this. So you can go to my video that shows this was a fireworks stand. And you can go to that video to see how it's made. But I'm just going to use this piece. Now, the first thing I painted last night on this one I wanted to be kind of spooky colors and kind of, let's look at it a little closer up. Now, I just stuck a skeleton in it just for fun. But I wanted spooky kind of reddish, kind of, because it's going to have pumpkin-y things and, the carved pumpkins, jack-o'-lanterns. So I wanted to, try to get okay, now we're talking a major difference in color. Major difference from the blocks. So you can't, you might not see that, but oh my gosh, it is. Major difference. So the first thing I started with on this one, now see, this is going to have like food and, you know, because it's a carnival booth. And didn't you remember carnival booths when you were a kid? I loved the carnival, and they had the games that we would play, and we dressed special. I even made an outfit for my carnival to wear. It was so much fun. We played musical chairs and a cakewalk and all those kind of things. So fond memories. So that's what makes me want to do this. So this color, now see, this is that farmhouse. And so I started with that color. Isn't that funny? This was an old broke thing from Hobby Lobby years ago, and I glued it the other day, and I stuck him in there. I think that's so hilarious. Funny. Anyway, this color is like the farmwood kind of color, and I was trying to see, that looks like it's what they've done. It looks like they've put kind of a greeny brown and then did a black watery wash over it. Correct me if I'm wrong. The black wash is kind of a gray to black wash. But see, it looks blacker in areas. It looks like a wash of a kind of a brownish, tannish. But anyway, so I had started with this, and here's what I had gotten to. And it looked like that. And this was taking a white and a gray. I took white and black to get my gray. And then I added just a little bit of this. This is a brown that has kind of red in it. It's Craft Smart. And it does have the red tint to it. Now, so browns are not all the same, so you want to really look and pay attention if your brown has red in it or if it's more greenish. Just wear your brown. It's like blacks. Blacks have blue blacks, green blacks, brown blacks. So it's important to know if your brown has a lot of red in it. So you can see it turns out pinky. This is rosy color. Again, if you compare, see the rosiness of it? And that's because that brown has so much red. So anyway, I put that into here. So I thought, well, we'll stir it up. This is from last night. And we'll do a bit of this and see how it turns out. And I'll let you see that. Now I'm going to push this back so I don't end up splattering my hard work. And, you know, it may be that one coat sinks in and doesn't really show you enough. And I have to do the whole thing. I'd like to do half and half, but then I'll end up with something I can't use. Not that the Jenga blocks are expensive, you know. I mean, I hope that they're still $1.25, but y'all want to get over there because they may be $1.50 now, and you certainly don't want them to be $1.75. But yeah, Dollar Tree, you're going to have to get over there and get things before, I don't know, if the end of the year is where they're going to catch up with themselves on the computer and have marked everything up. But I was so surprised that the $5 things had been stickered over and said $7. So, you know, they were pushing it with $5 things. I'm surprised that they're doing $7. I'm sure that the big crafters are just livid. Because when I was doing big crafts, they, you know, you're using all that stuff. You know, and it was costing me about $20 a wreath in my materials. And that was not using anything expensive. That was just using, like, you know, Dollar Tree and Hobby Lobby things. So, okay, so you can see the wash on here. This is just a very watery wash, and it's because I wanted to, you know, keep the wood grain. So this looks like this is a lot deeper in color and not such a thin wash. But you can see a lot of the grain, see all the grain in it. So maybe somebody knows just what color to use. If I'm not getting the right color and you want that barnwood effect. There was a barnwood brown. I had it for years and I used it. And I don't remember who. I ran out of it and I didn't see it again. So if anybody knows what that brown barnwood is, then show it to me. Okay, so I started with that, and it's still, the yellow still kept, you know, of the original piece, still kept sticking out at me, thinking that just didn't look right. And let me grab, so there's a lot of yellow in the Jenga blocks when you're, now see, this one's got that stamp on the back. That's what I was saying. Occasionally you'll get one that's it's embossed, so you want to make sure you put that down on a base, you know, downward or inside of something that you won't see it. So this has got to dry before we go on to anything else. And this one, let me just talk about this one while that's drying. That, you know, I'm going to have this all over the table before we finish this video. Now this one looks to me like the, now see that color orange, the pumpkins, that's what I was looking for, something that would complement, and you wouldn't think that'd be that important, but it really makes for your project being cute or not, is, you know, how does it look with what you're going to put in it. So this one to me looks like that, what, oak fencing or cedar fencing, where it's that reddish color fencing. And so I was thinking, you know, would the booth stay nicer, or would the stand, the pumpkin stand that they do every year because they have a pumpkin patch and they're growing pumpkins, well, they'd have to keep that looking nice. So I was thinking that one should have this color and be nicer preserved and all. Okay, so enough of that. You just choose, you know, how preserved. Now we're going to do some finishes. This is, now this one is this color. Set this somewhere where it'll get dry. Okay, so this one is that craft brown that has the red in it. And it's watered down. And you can see the red. You can just really see. And I did put a little bit of dark in there. I put a little bit of the gray I had mixed up from the black and the white. Just trying to just not such a vivid brownish red, but I mean, it does come out, and it does cover up this is 2 coats that's on the stand. Two, maybe 3. I did an extra one today, so maybe it's 3 of this watered down. Yeah, I think that might have been the 3rd one that was not as heavy as the first 2. So that one's not got anything mixed in, unless you want to put in a little bit of gray. That's really pretty much this color. And I like it with the, you know, the pumpkin color. I haven't finished these pumpkins. I need to work on them as well. These were just handmade from some DOS clay. And it was getting really late. So I like the colors get together on those. So the next thing I'm doing with this is using this I got on Temu, and these are those pigment ink stamp pad, and you can get these anywhere. And I'm just gonna tap on it all around corners, especially where you think that hands would touch things, like the counter front. Definitely the counter front. Feet kicking at it. The top. Under the top, maybe, where things would. So, just all around. And you can take a brush. I also took a brush and went and rubbed in places that I couldn't really reach, like right in here is kind of a tight spot. I can get a little bit, but not much. So I took my finger, or I took a brush and tried to, you know, wipe in there. So you get the idea. So you're aging it. You can also use the Waverly wax if you like that or prefer that. It's this is a little redder. This one is called, I don't know. It's all in foreign language. But it came off Temu, so pure palette, so I suppose this says clay shades. So it's a clay shade. So it goes with the reddish, where the let's see, the Waverly is very brown. And actually this Waverly might be the color. It's kind of in the umber colors, in the raw umber. So that might be the thing to get this barnwood color going, is using that Waverly, because it doesn't look like it has so much red. It looks kind of like a brown green, you know, greenish tint to it. Okay, so you get the idea. So next layer is going to be this. And so the next layer, I particularly did a lot of it on this one, on the back one. This one, not so much. I'm mixing chalk. Now I've mixed black, white, and brown. And it all fell together. And then over here on this side, I have a little green color. So I've got, see, black little pieces. This one, this is a gray green that I have over on this side. So I got these at that creative store, reuse store. And I guess, you know, somebody took a class and then they just didn't want them anymore. And they broke, the brown was broken and they just tossed them. And that was great because, you know, it's just perfect for our use. So the next thing is putting some color, some aging, and especially if you want it spooky looking. Now this, I just, you know, wanted enough to look like it gets pulled out every year and put on the roadside and gets dirt and dust from the roadside, just dirt and dust. Now, if you get, I don't know if this brush has gotten wet or not. This piece is wet. If you get it wet, you'll get streaks, you know, you'll get lines. So if you decide to do it damp, practice your technique so that you don't get those lines and blotches. And this is getting blotches for some reason. But anyway, so you get the gist that I'm trying to get it dusty looking, but not spooky. Not too spooky with the dark. So I've got a brownish black, going to dust it. And then you might want to seal it. You might feel like it needs to be sealed after you put this. And then that would be like your Mod Podge, a mat. Or take it outside and put a spray sealer on it. And I bought this sealer, I haven't used it yet, but it said I could use it on plastic. So I'm going to try this sealer on everything. Got that at Hobby Lobby. And it's Krylon sealer. And so I use a sealer on my wallpapers. And so that, you know, and if you get the matte sealer, that one's a clear sealer. And I've used the matte, so those are good. So anyway, you get what I'm doing is I'm just adding dimension and shadowing. That's what this is good for. Just trying to get it dusty looking. And if we compare it, see, it's really, the color is really taking on a lot of interest. And you can, you know, I got quite a bit of ink. This is a wet wipe. Well, it was last night. It looks pretty destroyed by now, you know, with color now. But if you get a wet wipe or just dampen your cloth a napkin will kind of fall apart, but if you get too much of something, then you can wipe away at it with one of the wet wipes. Okay, so then the next thing I wanted to do is the greenish gray. Around the bottom, you know, because it's sitting, you'll think that it's kind of sitting in grass. Looks like I got a chunk there. So this greenish gray, to me, would be around the base. And anything, and some of this you might want to put on after you've decorated, like anything spooky, you probably want to wait and dust around once you've put your pieces in, you know, decorated it, then go around and make it spooky with the grays, the gray blacks. But this also, you know, things get mossy. And so this has been sitting, you know, this will be sitting in grass all winter long, and I don't think the back is really as important as the front, but what the heck. So you can see that this would have been sitting in the grass waiting to be brought out again maybe. And so it might have some green color on it. And we'll stop there and show you the other one. But see what I'm going with this? That it just keeps adding to the, you know, you start out with just this or this, and then you just keep layering till you get it how you like it. And about 3 layers of the wash, you can still see through, you can still see all of the wood design in this. But now it's really getting interesting. Okay, so the next thing I have is this paper that's Paper Studio. It's corrugated, and I got this at Hobby Lobby. And so last night I painted it all black. I did them for both, and I painted it solid black. And then I took this Deco Art Crafters metallic silver, and I actually got this at Dollar Tree, so they're getting some deco art. Surprising. And it's very shiny. I was real surprised. I didn't think it would be near as metallic-y shiny. So this came from Dollar Tree. Not bad. But, you know, the glues, that if I paid $1.25, actually, that probably would be the Hobby Lobby price. So, not bad. Okay, so there we go. So it's got a metal roof on it. And on this, I mixed up some of the brown that's got red in it with a little bit of orange and tried to make the rust. Now, I know people put cinnamon on there, but I just did the faux finish. And I left some of the black when I went through and streaked I used my chunky brush to streak. Let's see, these big chunky brushes. Oh, here's my chunky. Well, it's really awful looking. This brush I nabbed from my friend, but I don't know where. I'm gonna have to find where you get these, but they're real good. I was going after it with the silver, and then went back in for the reddish orange, as you can see on the tip. And a little bit goes a long way. So, pretty cool that it made. Now I've got just put some tacky glue or any of, you know, your 3-in-1 or any of those. And then use your paper tape to tape that in place. And I think that's going to look really great. Can't wait to decorate it. So the next video will be, you know, doing all the minis I've been making. We'll do something with them. Okay, so let's look at this one on the color. Now, okay, I said that, you know, I was trying to go for the barnwood effect, and I wasn't happy. Even I tried it last night, and I think I must have had it thicker. But there was just too much yellow in these Jenga blocks for this thin. Now, you could go thicker in your paint, and then you'd be okay. But see the yellowness really sticks through, even as it dries. But I just didn't care for the color. So I went over to this washed down brown and added some grays into it. And this is what I got, this real kind of rosy. And then I did the same thing where I used a lot of these mixes of black and white to make gray, and then add some brown into it, and then use the green down at the bottom. And this one I think I want more black because this one's going to be for Halloween. So to make it more spooky. And I think that I'm going to shave off a puddle of black over here. And sometimes you need to just moisten your brush when you're doing the chalk. Sometimes it just needs a little more moist, but you get your technique down before you do that, because you'll end up getting lines and streaks instead of just a brushed on color, all over color. Now this, I don't have the brown so much in this group over here, and I think that looks kind of spookier. See? Then you can take your dry napkin or whatever you use, baby wipe if it's dry, and kind of go over. But this is where I would go ahead and set up all your miniatures on this, and then come back and do this around your miniatures and get the best effect. Okay, so see what I'm doing? And then I did the green at the bottom, down here at the bottom, because it's getting old and moldy and mildewed and mossy. And you can come in with some little greenery and glue that into it. And we might do that when I start putting miniatures into it, because I haven't done that yet. I haven't set it up with what all I want. And I've got to come up with a sign up here. And speaking of signs, don't forget to make your sign. Now this is the small sign that I made for the cemetery. And it says Liberty Hill Cemetery. And I just used some stuff I found outside. And this is dried up dandelion. So I say, go look for some dandelion. The younger it is, the younger the plant, the better, because it's smaller. Let it dry for 4 or 5 days. And that's what these taller pieces are. I haven't been able to find this anymore. I don't know. This was gray looking. And it's something that dried up. And I haven't figured out what it is yet in my friend's yard. But so this sign is going to be the pumpkin stand. And so it's going to say fresh pumpkins and all that. And I just glued it up. So I'm using a paint stick. And this was just broken pieces of wood that I had left over. Just these were craft pieces. And the other day, when I talked to you about let me go ahead and share what I found out the other day. Now, I've been telling you could get 40% off on these packages of Hobby Lobby wood. And they heard my video. They heard me saying it, because now they've put a set price on it. Now see, you were getting this. You were getting so much. I haven't opened this. It's basswood. It's Midwest Products. And they had the 40 off if it's $4.99 or above. Well, this was. And now they changed it to a set price. So I was getting it for $8.49 or something around there. And now it's $10.99. So they didn't want to lose their profit margin. But it still has a lot of pieces. So even at the set price of $10.99, this has things already cut up. This has a lot of different shapes. And the packs are never the same. So this has a lot of different shapes in it. It has really small squares, and then it has strips, thin and thicker, and these will be different thicknesses. There's a really thin one right here, and then a thicker in the middle. So I usually take them apart and I separate them with my existing, just so that I know I have them. I put the thinnest woods together and the thickest woods together, and so I don't know. It's probably it. I mean, I don't know how much if you bought these strips, you know, in the 20-inch or 24-inch, how much that would end up being. But I like that these pieces are already cut up for me, because I can certainly use them that way. Okay, so they ruined my fun thing of getting that deal, but that's okay. They gotta make their money. So anyway, this is going to be the Halloween Carnival booth. And so I'm going to put all the miniatures. You want a sneak peek? I'll give you a sneak peek. I made, out of cardboard, I made the little money box. Isn't that funny? Just out of cardboard, just cereal box. And actually, it was probably more, it took me longer probably to make this out of cereal box than it did out of wood, because I felt like it needed 2 layers, and I've got to do another layer of paint, which wood would paint a little better. And then I put this was just floral wire. This is just cereal box lock, and this is using that Tyvek bag, the priority mailer bag that I'm using all for a year now. And then I'm going to stick some money in there. So, don't forget, make yourself a little money box. And if you haven't seen my wedding fan videos, you want to see those. There's 4 different videos where I've used wedding fan. And those are awesome. I kind of hate to show that to you because it's so cool. You'll have to come to the next video and see these all decorated. They're going to be great. Okay, and don't forget to, here's this one. This piece is bigger, but the same process. So, pretty cool. Because, of course, the booth would have the metal on top. So, this booth, and also, these are great. I know I keep pushing these on you, but there's a reason. These will be so great for Christmas. Like, you know, Christmas booths, you go to a place to, you know, you're going to buy Christmas gifts, and you're going and seeing booths in places. We have them here where I live, and they have, they have the Armadillo World Bazaar or something. They have that huge one. I've never been. Because the crowds, massive crowds, as you get older, it's not as comfortable. But they have, like, that is so filled up with booths that you have to pay to get in early. So that's something. You know, pay more money to get in earlier to get the preview. And I don't know if they give you, you know, some food or some things, wine or something. I don't know. But yeah, you pay a whole lot of money to get in earlier to get to preview and buy than the general public. But it's a big deal. And so they have these they have booths. So you might want to do a Christmas one. If you don't want to do a fall one or don't have time, then start thinking about your Christmas. Okay, so watch the next video. It'll be loaded up. Both of them will be loaded up with fun things. Okay, so thanks. And I want to thank everybody that's watching and wishing me a happy 1,000. I'm so excited. I've gotten 1,000 subscribers, and I've had people wishing me the best and telling me that they are following my channel. And it's funny because I had someone say, I followed your channel from the very beginning. And so I was like looking back in my channel thinking, did they follow me from the very beginning? That is so wonderful. That is just so sweet. So I put some names in a box, and I want to see if they follow me all the way through my videos, because some of them are long. And this lady said that she watched my I had an hour-long video, and she watched it all the way to the end to find a tip that she really wanted, something she really wanted. So here you go. Let's see. I'm going to send a gift to Crafty Nita. Crafty Nita, do you know who you are? You have a week from the time this video shows to let me know you got this. And my email address is in my bio, so you can be sure you message me and tell me you got this, and you're sending me your address. And I'm going to send you a gift. Crafty Nita. And if I don't hear from you, Crafty Nita, then we draw again. So thanks, y'all. I appreciate you so much, and I have so much fun with y'all, and it's been just a great 8 months. Thank you so much.